Welcome back to Rich Words Music, where today I'm very excited to be looking at the Wampler Ratsbane pedal. Now, I think I'm probably one of the first people to get these out in the real world. I should say that I didn't buy this, they're not available in most stores in Germany yet. This was sent to my day job company, Blue Guitar, and I borrowed the pedal to make this video. So in that sense, I'm going to put product provided down there just so you guys know. I might buy it after doing this demo, who knows. Anyway, the Ratsbane is Brian Wampler & Co.'s take on the legendary, iconic ProCo Rat Distortion, Overdrive and Fuzz pedal, and of course many other companies have made their take on this pedal, and now it's Wampler's turn. The Ratsbane is a mini pedal. It packs a whole lot of controls and a whole lot of sounds into this tiny little box. I know some of you are fans of mini pedals and some of you are not so much fans of mini pedals, but that's what we have here. And what I'm going to do today is what I think would be the most useful for you guys out there, and that's play a bunch of riffs through this pedal on my Tele, my Strat and my Les Paul, so we get a bunch of single coil and humbucker sounds that we can test. Afterwards I will do a loop across each guitar as well and twist the knobs so we can hear all the extremities of the pedal. And at the very end, just because so many of you have asked me, I will do a little loop test A/B comparison between the ProCo Rat 2 and the Wampler Ratsbane. So just before we start to play then, let me explain the controls on the pedal. We've got a volume control and a distortion control, pretty clear, and here is the famed Rat filter control. Now don't be confused if you think it's all the way up or all the way down. Actually the tone filter control is backwards on this pedal, and Wampler have done it backwards the same way as ProCo would. So when it's turned all the way up, you've actually filtered out most of the highs. When you turn it all the way down to 8 or 9 o'clock, you've got more highs in your signal, so don't be confused if you see that in the video. Now, what the Rat 2 doesn't have, and what the Ratsbane does, is two switches here that offer you different sounds and voicings, and that's a Wampler thing. Brian Wampler always likes to add extra innovations and tweaks into his designs. He doesn't like to just clone pedals. He says, there's a very good video by him, by the way, about the Ratsbane pedal, which you should watch after watching this. I shall link it in the cards or the description so you can watch that afterwards. But here we have a gain switch. This is a three-way switch. When it's in the middle, you've got the classic Rat amount of gain. Flick it across to the left and you get a mid and high gain boost. Flick it across to the right and you get a full frequency gain boost, so lows as well. I shall be using all three settings throughout the video. It's quite small, but just take a look at the pedal in the corner and you'll see what my settings are exactly. Across on the right here we have a voice switch, and this is a two-way switch. When it's across to the left-hand side, it's a classic Rat circuit voicing. When it's flicked across to the right hand side, Brian Wampler says it's a completely new circuit, much more akin to a modern distortion pedal, so I'm expecting extra tightness and maybe a chunk of extra gain there as well. But we shall find out right now. I'm going to play my Fender Tele, my Fender Strat and my Epiphone Les Paul through the Ratsbane, then we'll do a bunch of loops and we will speak more about everything afterwards. Okay then, so you've just been hearing the Wampler Ratsbane with a bunch of different guitars playing different riffs in different styles, and I hope you enjoyed the sounds. I'm guessing that the vast majority of you watching this channel will own or have owned a Rat pedal or a derivative of the Rat circuit at some point in the past, so you will have recognized immediately the sounds that were coming from this pedal. So I'm going to do a quick review of the Ratsbane just right from the off now and tell you my thoughts on it. So first things first, when I got it, I have to say I thought there's a lot of controls on this tiny little box here. I wonder if my chunky, chubby fingers are going to find their way around them very comfortably. And with the three knobs, I think it's absolutely fine. No issues with the volume distortion and filter controls, but I did have some issues getting to the gain control, especially when it was over on the right hand side, very close to the filter knob, then trying to flick it back across to the middle or to the left, that really, that was a problem for me. And with the voice switch as well, it's not that easy. But again, you could have a different situation where those switches were inside as internal dip switches or something, and I would much prefer to have them on the outside of the pedal as opposed to the inside, for example. I don't like pedals that have internal trim pods, like my Friedman Dirty Shirley, for example. Now, when it comes to the build quality, this is typical Wampler. It's made in America, as all Wampler pedals are. I expect nothing less than fully giggable, road-worthy, durable pedals, and that is exactly what this one seems to be. I reckon I could probably throw it out of the window right over there and it would not break. I reckon it can last on a pedal board for years and years and years. It's very sturdy, the switches are sturdy, there's no wobbly bits, anything like that. The pedal felt like great quality from start to finish. So let's talk about the sounds of the Ratsbane then. It does the rat sound. That's exactly what I thought as soon as I turned it on. It sounds like a rat, and of course it is the Wampler homage to the Rat pedal. It doesn't sound 100% dead on to my ears, but it sounds 99.99% there. It is a Rat, and if you have it in a band mix, or if you're not directly A-Bing it against a Rat, it is a Rat pedal. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a great sound. Everybody enjoys that tone, and legally you can't patent a circuit anyway, so let's all enjoy Rat pedals. And the Ratsbane is a very impressive new member to the Rat family, because what it offers that lots of the others don't is this extra versatility through the switches there. Now, you've got the basic Rat if you don't touch the switches at all, but if you flick the gain to the left or the right, you have extra amounts of gain boost, and if you flick the voicing switch across to the other circuit, that opens up what for me is essentially a second pedal. So this is actually one mini pedal in size, but for me it's two separate pedals. Now, the two different gain boosts for me were not actually as usable as the center setting, which is the classic Rat setting, and that's because I often use the Rat with the distortion down at about a quarter or even less, because for my timid indie and classic rock musings, that's all you really need. But if you are someone who likes to crank it up, and if you like to boost your pedal, or if you like to boost your Rat, then the switches on here are going to be very, very useful for you indeed. And now that second voice for me also sounds absolutely fantastic. It's not a Rat, it does take you away from it. You can hear that it's kind of a brother or a cousin, if you will, to the Rat pedal, but it is a different sound, and I like it very much, and I use that mostly for the heavier stuff because it really tightens up the sort of chuggy low end when you're playing metal, when you're playing more modern sounds, and I think that's exactly what Brian Wampler designed it for, so kudos to him for that. And when I think about how well the Ratsbane reacts to all my different guitars here at Rich Towers, I'm very impressed indeed. That's also something I realized with the ProCo Rat when I got it, by the way. It was last year when I first got a Rat pedal, if you can believe that, and I was amazed that it worked exceedingly well with my Telecaster, with my Strat, and also with the Les Paul. You obviously get something a bit different when you plug in hotter humbuckers, and of course you've heard that with the playing samples just there as well. But the Rat, despite having just 3 controls normally, is very versatile when you tweak it to the different settings and when you take some time to learn how to get the best sounds. One other problem with the Rat and with the Ratsbane circuit is that you can get bad tones too, in my opinion at least. So you've got to spend a little bit of time with your guitar, with your amp and with your signal, blending the pedal, twisting the knobs to the right settings to make sure that you're going to sound good and not just a flubby mess. Because if you want flubby mess is in this circuit. It's an offering that you can absolutely have if you want it. Now, the Ratsbane of course gives you a bit more versatility than the ProCo Rat 2 thanks to those switches, and it will let you tighten things up as well. And so I've got them both in my hands now, and one of the final points I wanted to raise would be, which one of these should you buy if you don't yet have a Rat? Or if you do have a Rat, is it worth buying the Ratsbane? Well, let's start off by just talking about the prices. At time of filming, it's April 2021, the ProCo Rat in Europe costs about 80 euros. The Wampler Ratsbane costs 160, so it's literally double the price of the original ProCo Rat pedal. And I would say if you're taking your first stepping stone towards Rat sounds, if you want to go by budget as one of your more important points, you absolutely can't go wrong with the ProCo Rat, the original and best. These things are built like tanks. They're going to last for years, decades. You can get them even cheaper than €80 on the used market for about 50 if you're lucky. They are absolutely no-brainers, super pedals, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend them to anyone. So that leads me then to say, well, should you pay $160 for the Ratsbane? Well, it does offer you a lot more than the original Rat thanks to the gain boosts and the extra voicings. It's also made in America, and this one is not. The newer ProCo Rats are not made in America, so if you hold credence to the made in America thing, then you'll probably want to go for the Ratsbane. Now, I thought that the loop that we did with these two pedals was very interesting. They're not exactly the same sound. They're very, very close on the stock settings, but the Wampler can do slightly more. What the Wampler can do that the ProCo Rat can't is a bit more tightness, especially when you switch to the modern voice setting. That gives you a lot more kind of tightness in the low end. You can chug a bit better, and that was the sound that I used for the more metally tones towards the end of the playing section of the video. But overall, if you're going not from an A-B comparison, if you're literally going to plug in and play with some other people, or if you're going to play a gig, or if you're going to record something, you're not going to hear the difference between these two. And I think that there is a place for the ProCo Rat, of course. There's a place for the Wampler Ratsbane too, and I think this pedal is going to sell an absolute truckload. The other thing to say about it is that it's a super cool mini pedal, and you will fit it on a smaller board or into a slightly smaller space than you will the ProCo Rat. Of course, the ProCo Rat has jacks at the top, and you have jacks on the side of the Ratsbane, so it's not quite as space saving as you might think it would be. But let's say you're building a mini pedals board, and that's a super cool thing to do. You could do it with Wampler pedals actually, because they've got the Ratsbane, they've got a mini plexi drive, they've got the mini bell, which is their take on the Noble's ODR1, for example. Mini pedals are a cool thing, and this is one of the best of them. Now, besides the Ratsbane and the ProCo Rat, there are a bunch of other Rat pedals that you could also go for. The most affordable that I can think of off the top of my head would be the Mua Black Secret, which costs about €60 new here in Europe, and you can get them much cheaper secondhand as well. Then there's more boutique-y ones. You've got the Greer Guerrilla Warfare, you've got the Jam Rattler, and you've got what is probably the most hyped of the Rat pedals at the moment, which is the 1981 Inventions DRV pedal, and that looks absolutely amazing. I've not played one yet, but I would absolutely love to. And that's the crux of it really. I guess they all sound pretty much the same at the end of the day. They're all takes on this ProCo Rat pedal, but they all have a little bit of a different flavor. They all make us look at them differently, and we use them all differently based on what we see from them, if you see what I mean. You've got this all black, glow in the dark ProCo Rat pedal here, and here with the Ratsbane, we've got this middle-aged plague doctor there on the pedal, which is kind of bitterly ironic in these Corona times, I guess. I do love these beaky mask costumes that they wore. Did you know that the plague doctors from the Middle Ages, they wore these beaks because they would actually put flowers and herbs and lavender and things like that into the end of the beaks to ward off evil smells, because they thought that if they had nice smells in their noses, they would actually not catch the plague. Nice one, guys. But anyway, this has been my rambling review of the Wampler Ratsbane pedal by Wampler. I hope you enjoyed the sounds. If you have any more questions about it, please feel free to ask me in the comments. Tell me which of the two you preferred from the loop as well, because I'd really like to hear what you think. And if you want me to do anything more with this pedal, test it with some of my other guitars or run it up against any other pedals, let me know, because I can have it for a bit longer if I will. And I actually might buy one. You know, I've got a few Rat pedals in my collection now, and this might be the next one to join it. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich for Rich Words Music, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.